Rintrah roars and shakes his fires in the burdened air. Hungry clouds swag on the deep. A new heaven is begun, and the eternal hell revives. It can only mean one thing. It's the return of Blakety Blake, the world's best and perhaps only online quiz on William Blake and all things Blakean. Do you know your minute particulars from your monstrous polyps? Can you tell your burning tigers from your blind terrials? Will you emerge as a Zoa or a Zero? Visionary or merely vegetated? It's time to pit your wits against your fellow Blakians. Let the mental fight commence! Right, I can't do that for the rest of the evening, but I thought we should get off to a dramatic start. Thanks everyone for joining us on the return of Blakety Blake, the William Blake quiz. Normally, we would for Blake Society events, we would ask people to keep their cameras off and microphones off while the very informative presentation is taking place. But that is not so much what this evening is going to be about. So I would encourage everyone to turn their cameras on so we can all feel as if we are in either a pub or a 1970s TV studio, as you prefer. Maybe keep yourselves muted until a little bit later, but it certainly helps me feel like I'm talking to a room full of people rather than as ever talking into the void. Just to talk a little bit about the history of Blakety Blake. So I think at least three people who are present this evening were here for the inaugural Blakety Blake back in the dreaded days of 2020 COVID times. I think it was our second event that we did as the Blake Society after COVID struck, while we were trying to figure out how to keep going like everyone else. And of course, everyone was doing Zoom quizzes with their friends and their family. So we thought we should do something similar. And we've been meaning to bring it back ever since. And seemingly, the world in a similarly catastrophic place as it appears to be right now seems like perfect timing to give it another go. So here we are. So it is a real quiz with real questions about Blake and Blakean things. So it's up to you how seriously you want to take it or not. But very much the emphasis will be on having fun rather than academic prowess and competition. Um, what else do I need to tell you about how it's going to work? You'll all be competing individually. We can't really do teams, and maybe we'll do a real in a real pub one day, and we could do that. But we do encourage you, should you choose, to come up with a Blakean pub quiz style name. If you want to rename yourself, if you know how to do that on Zoom, I think you just click on yourself and it will give you the option to rename. And later on, my glamorous assistant, Tamsin, one of the important responsibilities that she will have this evening is to choose her favourite Blakean pub quiz name, and there will be a bonus point for her favourite. What else do I need to tell you before we get started? There are going to be 50 questions. There are going to be 8 rounds, I think. And some of them are just me asking you questions, and some of them are multimedia extravaganza gubbins, which we'll get to with the invaluable assistance of Ian, who, as ever, is lurking behind his digital Wizard of Oz style screen. We are gonna score as we go. So we'll do like 2 rounds and then we'll do the answers. So again, you could cheat at the whole thing, but who would you really be cheating? You'd be cheating yourselves, you'd be cheating William Blake, and you'd be cheating me. So please don't. Um, I think it might be time to introduce the glamorous Tamzin to explain what her role is going to be. Tamzin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. Really nice to meet you all or see you all. I know many of you. I'm the secretary of the Blake Society. So as secretary, even though numbers are really not my strong point, perhaps I should warn you up ahead. So it may descend into a kind of arbitrary scoring system, and you'll have to look at it through fourfold vision and imagine it in a Blakean way. But I will do my best to keep track. So yeah, I'm going to be keeping score. So after every round, we're going to ask you just to tot up your own total and drop it into the chat. And then my job with my very very technical score sheet here will be adding them up, and we're not going to name names except the top four or top 10 or whatever John decides we're going to be naming, and then we're going to be awarding some Blakean prizes,
Absolutely. There are
which
some
I'm looking
very
forward
impressive
to.
Blakey prizes to be won. I should say as well, if you don't want to submit your score, that is also absolutely fine. You can just play for your own honor and amusement. But should you want to, yeah, I'll tell you when it's time to put your scores in the chat. And then Tamsin, in what will surely be the most important role that she undertakes as Secretary of the Blake Society, will add those up for us. Yep.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you. I think we could probably get going. I think I've said everything, the technical gubbins. So I think we should get on. We've got a good few people playing. So the other thing I should have said is you probably need a pencil and paper, but I imagine you've figured that out. So let's kick off with round one, which is entitled Pictor Ignotus. And these are all questions on the life of William Blake. These are, as I say, just straightforward questions. So I'll probably read each one twice. That's the other thing I should have said. If you want me to repeat anything or anything's unclear, you can either put your question in the chat or just unmute yourself and pipe up. It's all going to be sort of suitably and enjoyably chaotic this evening, I think. So that's fine. Right, here we go. Questions on the life of our beloved William. Question one, we'll start with the most straightforward question one could ask. On what date was William Blake born? Question one. On what date was William Blake born? Okay. Moving on to question two. What was the profession of his father, James Blake? What was the profession of William Blake's father, James Blake? I have to making quite a strong effort not to read out the answers as I go, which would be bad. Question three. In his annotations to Francis Bacon, Blake wrote that everybody hates a king. Who was King of Britain when William Blake was born? So the question is, who was King of Britain when William was born? Okay. Am I going too fast or is that all good? I shall presume everyone is happy. Question four. In 1772, Blake began a 7-year apprenticeship in engraving. What was the name of his master? In 1772, Blake began a 7-year apprenticeship in engraving. What was the name of his master? Question five. In 1782, William married Catherine Blake, née Boucher. How did she sign their marriage certificate? In 1782, William Blake married Catherine Blake, née Boucher. How did she sign the marriage certificate? Right. Here's a slightly trickier one, he says, possibly. Question six. Put these Blake residences in the chronological order in which he lived in them. 27 Broad Street, 3 Fountain Court, 23 Green Street, and 17 South Molton Street. So put these residences in chronological order in which Blake lived in them. We've got 27 Broad Street, 3 Fountain Court, 23 Green Street, 17 South Molton Street. Question 7. What was the name of the celebrated sculptor and Swedenborgian who was Blake's lifelong friend? What was the name of the celebrated sculptor and Swedenborgian who was Blake's lifelong friend? Question 8. What was the name of Blake's long-running patron whose penchant for biblical watercolors was an invaluable asset? There's a little clue there in the question. What was the name of the celebrated sculptor and... Oh, no, that's not a clue. It's the wrong question. We're on question 8, I think. What was the name of Blake's long-running patron whose penchant for biblical watercolors was an invaluable asset? It's not clever, but it is a clue. Question 9. Where did Blake hold his ill-fated 1809 exhibition? And question 10, which is the final question in round 1. Pictor Ignotus, or Unknown Painter, is the subtitle of the first biography of Blake. Who wrote it? Pictor Ignotus, or Unknown Painter, is the subtitle of the first biography of Blake. Who wrote it? Okay, we've done a round. Round 1 is behind us. Would anybody like me to repeat or clarify a question before we go on? All right, we're going to move on to round 2, which is entitled Minute Particulars. And these are questions, 10 questions on Blake's work as opposed to his life. Okay, question 11. Put these Blake poems in chronological order, the order in which he created them. Here we go. Vala, or the Four Zoas, Jerusalem, the emanation of the giant Albion, An Island in the Moon, and finally, or perhaps not, Europe, a Prophecy. So the 4 Blake poems to be put in chronological order are Vala, or the Four Zoas, Jerusalem, the emanation of the giant Albion, An Island in the Moon, Europe, a Prophecy. I like to think that when William was labouring over those very knotty tomes, that he thought one day people would be doing this, doing an online quiz about them. I hope that would make him happy. Question 12. What is the name of the emanation of Tharmas? And this is our first multiple choice question. So who is the emanation of Tharmas? Is the answer A, Union, B, Ennion, or C, Onion? The options are for the emanation of Tharmas: A, Union, B, Ennion, C, Onion. Question 13. How many times is loss mentioned in America, a Prophecy? Is the answer A, 0, B, 3, or C, 8 times? How many times is loss mentioned in America, a Prophecy? Is it A, 0, B, 3, or C, 8 times? Another multiple choice question. Question 14. How many times is Urizen mentioned in Europe, a Prophecy? A, 0, B, 4, or C, 6 times? How many times is Urizen mentioned in Europe, a Prophecy? A, 0 times, B, 4, or C, 6? Okay, question 15. In Blake's poetry, Orc is compared to a number of wild animals. Which of the following animals is not invoked as a representation of Orc? A, lion, B, eagle, C, bear, D, whale, or E, serpent? So in Blake's poetry, Orc is compared to a number of wild animals. Which of the following animals is not invoked as a representation of Orc? A, lion, B, eagle, C, bear, D, whale, E, serpent. Question 16. In Milton, the titular poet descends from the afterlife into somebody's foot. Whose foot is it, and which foot? So in the poem Milton, the titular poet descends from the afterlife into somebody's foot. Whose foot is it, and which foot? Question 17. Which of these London locations is not mentioned in all of Blake's surviving writings? So is not mentioned. A, Camberwell, B, Westminster, C, Hackney, D, Hoxton, E, Chelsea. Which of these London locations is not mentioned in all of Blake's surviving writings? A, Camberwell, B, Westminster, C, Hackney, D, Hoxton, or E, Chelsea? And similarly, question 18, which of the following historical persons is not mentioned in all of Blake's surviving writings? A, Thomas Paine, B, Mary Wollstonecraft, C, Voltaire, D, Benjamin Franklin, or E, Joanna Southcott? So the options are, and remember this is who is not mentioned in all of Blake's surviving writings. The options are A, Thomas Paine, B, Mary Wollstonecraft, C, Voltaire, D, Benjamin Franklin, or E, Joanna Southcott? Question 19. Blake's famous image, The Ancient of Days, is originally the frontispiece of which of his prophetic books? Blake's famous image, The Ancient of Days, is originally the frontispiece of which of his prophetic books? And the final question in round two, question 20. Blake fell out with his friend Thomas Stothard. Stothard? Stothard. I've never decided. That's not the question. Blake fell out with his friend Thomas Stothard when he accused him of stealing his idea to paint and engrave a depiction of a famous work of literature by another poet. What is that work of literature? So one more time. Blake fell out with his friend Thomas Stothard when he accused him of stealing his idea to paint and engrave a depiction of a famous work of literature by another poet. What is that work of literature? Okay, that is the end of round two. Now, I'll give you a minute, but in a moment, we're going to do the answers, go through the answers of rounds one and two. So if anybody has any questions or clarifications, type up now or put it in the chat. Not seeing any questions. So I will take as a testament to my professionalism as a 1970s style quiz show host. Okay, in which case, let's do the answers to rounds one and two. So I think what we'll do is if you want to unmute yourselves, if you feel comfortable, and then we'll go through the questions and people can just shout out the answers, and then you can all mark yourselves as we go. How does that sound?
Good.
Okay, here we go. So back to round one, Pictor Ignotus. Question one. On what date was William Blake born?
November 28th, 1757.
Correct. Thank you very much. Which apparently was a Monday, according to, the internet. There we
It
go.
was
But there's no bonus points for the day of the week. But that is correct. 28th of November, 1757.
really
Question two. What was the profession of his father, James Blake?
Hosier.
Hosier.
Correct. Hosier. I would also accept haberdasher if anyone has written that, because I think he did a bit of both, is my understanding. But Hosier is indeed the correct answer. Okay, everybody hates a king, said William Blake. Who was the king of Britain when he was born?
George the Third.
Not quite.
Then the second.
George
George the
II.
second, correct. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm right in saying George the Third came to the throne in 1760. So almost just caught the fag end of George the Second, as it were. Question four. In 1772, Blake began his apprenticeship in engraving. What was the name of his master?
James
Basir.
Basir.
Correct. In stereo. Amazing. James Bazir. Indeed. Question five. How did Catherine Blake née Boucher sign their marriage certificate?
With
X.
an X.
With an
With an
X.
X.
With an X. Correct. Well done, everyone. Okay, question six. Right, let's see how we do with this. So we've got the four residences. The order I gave them to you in was 23 Green Street, 27 Broad Street, 17 South Molton Street. Sorry, that's not the order I gave them to you in. That is the correct order. I told you 27 Broad Street, 3 Fountain Court, 23 Green Street, 17 South Molton Street. Would anyone like to tell me? I've half told you what the correct order is. What are we putting first?
Broad Street.
Incorrect. It's a
Green
bit of a
Street.
great question. Yes, it is 23 Green Street. I'll explain my dastardly trick in a minute. What are we putting after 23 Green Street?
Then Broad Street, surely.
Then Broad Street, correct. Then
Moulton.
South Molton Street,
Yeah.
indeed, and Fountain Court at the end. So because I'm tricky so and so, and the reason I included the numbers is that William and Catherine moved into 27 Broad Street. I think I'm right in saying with James Parker after they had lived in, so Green Street, I think was their first house after they got married, just off Leicester Square. And then 27 Broad Street, literally next door to 28 Broad Street, where he was born, was a later residence. But that is correct. So it's Green Street, Broad Street, South Molton Street, Fountain Court.
Would
Uh,
that 4231 by any chance? I have
oh,
like
good question. It would make sense if I'd done that, wouldn't it? But I think so. Green Street. I think
Three.
if I'd have helpfully put A, B, C, D, I think it would go C, A, D, B.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been good, wouldn't it? Seven. What was the name of the celebrated sculptor and Swedenborgian who was Blake's lifelong friend?
Flaxman.
It
Flaxman.
was indeed John Flaxman. Question eight. What was the name of Blake's long-running patron whose penchant for biblical watercolors? Bad clue, etc. Who was that?
Bubs.
Thomas
Butts.
Buds.
Thomas Butt. Indeed, indeed. Question nine. Where did Blake hold his ill-fated 1809 exhibition?
In his brother's shop, right?
Indeed, yeah. So I would take that as an absolutely valid answer. Similarly, if you just put 28 Broad Street, which is indeed the same place, then yeah, either of those or something along those lines, correct. And finally, for round one, Picturognosis is the sort of Latin subtitle of the first biography of Blake. Who wrote it?
Alexander Gilchrist.
Correct. And if you also, I would accept as a correct answer, Anne Gilchrist, who finished it off for him because poor old Alexander perished before it was finished. So yeah. Okay. Well done, everyone. Let's move swiftly on to round two, minute particulars. So similarly, would have helped in retrospect if I'd given these an A, B, C, D, but let's see how we get on. Put these Blake poems in chronological order. Who wants to have a shot at this?
Island in the Moon first.
In the
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Uh,
Europe,
yeah,
Then Europe, then Val
Vela,
Bela.
and then
In
Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
that's correct. Yeah, Ireland in the Moon, Europe, Vala or the Four Zoas, Jerusalem.
Yep.
Okay, question 12. What is the name of the emanation of Tharmas?
Clearly
Onion.
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 Anyone fall for my trick question? See onion?
That was a good
No.
one.
I mean, it
Close.
should be onion. It's more
Should be.
vegetative, so yeah.
We are going to have a round later about food, so that could almost have been a question that I probably could have done. Right, question 13. How many times is loss mentioned in America a prophecy? 0, 3, or 8?
0.
Correct. A 0. Loss ain't turned up yet in America. Okay, question 14. Similarly, how many times is Eurozen mentioned in Europe a prophecy? 0, 4, or 6?
6.
6 is correct. C6. Question 15. Yeah, so orc is compared to a number of animals. Which animal is never invoked, as far as I've found, as a representation of orc?
Bear.
Bear.
It is indeed the bear. Correct. Very good. Okay. Question 16. In Milton, the man himself, Milton, descends brilliantly, love this, into somebody's foot. Whose foot is it and which foot?
Blake's left foot.
Williams.
Blake's left.
Blake's left foot, correct. Okay, question 17. Which of these London locations is not mentioned in Blake's writings? Camberwell, Westminster, Hackney, Hoxton, Chelsea.
Hoxton.
That is
Hoxton.
correct. Very good. Very impressed. Yeah. The first time we did this in 2020, which a few of you might remember, I did the same question, but the answer was Peckham, which was a really mean question because obviously the Angels in Peckham, but he never, as far as I can tell, that never gets a mention. Right, question 18. Which of the following historical persons is not mentioned in Blake's writings? Payne, Wollstonecraft, and
Benjamin.
Voltaire.
Benjamin
Sorry, say again?
Franklin, yeah.
Incorrect. Benjamin Franklin does get a mention. I think he's mentioned in America.
Ah,
Wollstonecraft.
It is
oh,
Wollstonecraft.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
wait, he illustrated one of
Yeah,
her
yeah.
books,
he
so he
did
had to mention.
indeed.
Didn't he have to mention her at some
He
point?
does not mean this is like the Peckham question in 2020.
Well, but there is a poem called Mary, which is said to be about her.
That's a good point, Camilla. That is a good point, and I'm going to give you half a point for trying your luck.
It's not certain it's about her.
No, it's why you get
No,
half a
it's
point.
not.
It's half. That's why it's half. Yeah.
Didn't he also engrave something to commemorate her
He did
death?
indeed. I
Yeah.
don't know about that. He did a book, didn't he, for
It's-
Joseph Johnson?
No, I believe he did something to commemorate her death too. That even has like an image of the young Mary Shelley later, later Shelley. So it seems kind
I'm
of.
not,
I
I'm
found
not
that somewhere.
but could well be the case. I've not come across
Okay.
that.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't think she gets. I don't think written down. You see Mary Wollstonecraft anywhere. Although, as Camilla said, do you see Mary? So perhaps, yeah, yeah. Where are we up to? Question 19. Ancient of Days is originally the frontispiece of which prophetic book?
Europe.
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 Oh.
Indeed. Correct. Very good. And finally, for this round on Blake's work, he fell out with Thomas Stothard. He accused him of stealing his idea, basically, to do this artwork about another work of literature. What was it?
Canterbury Tales.
It was indeed Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Correct. Yep.
Of course.
So that is the end of the first round.
Is that why he didn't do any more than the one?
Sorry, of the one.
Didn't he do? He did something. He did the Pilgrims, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He did his own version, and I think that was in the painting was in the 1809 exhibition, I think.
And then
But,
he quit. He didn't do any more.
Well, he did. I don't know whether he was ever intending on what do you mean, like individual pilgrims?
Okay.
Or I don't know whether that was the intention or not. But I know Stothard's painting and was like a absolute sellout, wasn't it? Like people like queuing around the block to see it, and poor old William, nobody was interested. Yeah, story of his life. So if you can score your answers, so basically it's as simple as a point for each successful answer, or half a point if you wrote Mary for Mary Wollstonecraft, the Mary poem. Um, then we invite you to put your scores into the chat. As I say, not compulsory, but if you and then what we'll do is in a couple of minutes, I'll ask Tamzin to just tell us who maybe the top five scorers are thus far, and that way we can get some really sort of heated, competitive spirit going, which is what we want, obviously. In the meantime, I'm gonna ask Ian to play a nice bit of music for us while you do that and Tamzin compiles the scores. Gareth, you look like you might have a question before we.
Just a point of order, Mr. Host.
Oh, God. Right.
The sort of chronological order questions.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you have to get them all right to get marked. There's
Yeah.
not a separate mark for each one of them.
No, I can't be. I'm too lazy to figure
Yeah,
out.
no, I'm just scrabbling around for any marks that might be going.
Of
So,
course.
you know.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you, Gareth, but no, we're insisting on full correctness for those ones. Yep. Yep. But again, nice try. Yeah, so we're going to listen to a little bit of Blake-inspired music by David Axelrod, and then we'll do that for a couple of minutes while everybody puts their scores in the chat, and then we'll carry on. Okay, everybody. Tamzin, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Could you, I think what we'll do is, should we do maybe we'll do top four all the way through for reasons that will become
Yeah.
later on. Could you please reveal to us, preferably in reverse order, the top four scorers so far?
Okay. Right. We have do you know what? Everyone did really well. And it's all really close, but we have got in reverse order, Camilla Corino, Sibylla Earle, Jennifer Jess, and Mark Kanowski in first place. Thank you very much. That's brilliant. And yeah, 2 of those are our trustees, which is a bit of a relief that they do know something about Blake. So yeah, good luck with round 2, everybody. No, where are we? Round 3. We're going to round 3 now, aren't
Going
we?
into round 3 shortly. Thank you very much, Tamsin. Now,
That's
how many
okay.
people have given themselves
Only
amusing
2 people have given it.
Okay.
Thing is that if they give themselves other names now, I'm going to really struggle to work out which one you were. I might just, that's a point at which it might descend into chaos, but do we mind? So if you'd like to rename yourself, please do consider. But as John has done, he's just put his name in brackets afterwards. That's helpful. So
Yeah.
if you want to rename yourself, please do. And just tell me what your first. Oh, we got an obtuse angle
Oh, yes.
already. So,
Yeah, that might be a good idea to put
yeah,
put ones.
I can work out who they are from their scores, perhaps. I can probably manage that.
If you could put your civilian name perhaps in brackets as well as
Yeah,
John.
if you can be bothered, that would be great. Otherwise, it's thank you, Gareth. That's I did actually work that out because you've got the scores next to it and I've got them written down. But yeah, if you feel like challenging me on top of the maths, then that would be a good way to do it.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Tamsin. As Tamsin says, it's slightly awkward in a way that that see the trustees doing so well because it looks like a fix. On the other hand, yeah, it does sort of fill you with confidence that maybe, the trustees are the trustees for a reason. It's good. Right, we're going to move on to round 3, and I believe we're going to have a little reprise of the intro. I don't have much experience in animation, as perhaps you can tell, and I originally put that together for the first version in 2020, and I think it's still the thing I'm proudest of in my life, if I'm honest. I hope to be around for a long time, but that will definitely be played at my funeral. Let's move on. So sound, and then there's a dot 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 because the next round, not giving too much away, is going to be and vision, not Blake, but 10th anniversary of Bowie dying, so that'll nod to my other second favorite visionary artist. This is all going to be this round 5 questions about music inspired by Blake, or I think they're all adaptations of Blake poems or songs. So I'll read out the question and then we'll listen to an excerpt of the song. If we want to, we can listen to him a couple of times. We'll see how we go. But so question 21, as you can see in front of you. Which great British jazz composer and performer performs this version of The Tiger and the Lamb?
Tiger, tiger, bloody bright, in the forest of the night, wanting water and wine, different with river's symmetry, inward distance, deep so skies, and the fire of thine eyes, upward wings that he has fly, on the hand that sees the fire. And we're shoulders and we're down, rejoice the sinews of the land. And when the heart began to beat, what right hand and what right feet, little lamb who made
Okay. I think maybe what we'll do is play all 5 through, and then if people want to hear them again, we can, but we'll sort of see how people are feeling then. So if we can move on to the next slide, please, Ian. Thank you. 22. Which Manchester band plays this song, which contains unreliable information about WB, but some choice quotes from The Marriage of Heaven and Hell? Hit that tracking.
You heard about that Blake went down the hill in Chepstow, and long gone it was broke, but it was oak. Road didn't matter or come off, but heaven and hell did. I look up. The fire is falling. I look up,
my idea of musical heaven, maybe hell for some. Question 23, please, Ian. Who sings this adaptation of The Voice of the Bard from her 2012 album Blake Interpretations of the Garden of Love?
Hear the voice of the bard, whose present, past, and future sees, whose ears have heard the holy word that walked among the ancient trees, calling the lapse soul and weeping in the evening dew, that might control the starry pole and fallen light renew. Oh earth, return, arise from out the dewy grass.
Okay, question 24, please, Ian. Which punk and dub bass player and former employee of London Underground is responsible for this version of Auguries of Innocence?
To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. A rubbing redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. A dove house filled with doves and pigeons shudders held through all its regions. A dog starved at his master's gate predicts the ruin of the state. A horse misused upon the road calls to heaven for human blood. Each outcry of the hunted hare, a fibre from the brain does tear. A skylark wounded in the wing, a cherubim does cease to sing. The gamecock clipped and armed for fight does the rising sun.
Okay, and finally for this round, question 25. Which Bristolian post-punk pioneer made this fragmentary cut-up rendition of Jerusalem? There we go. A bold interpretation. For those who don't know, Camilla, one of our trustees, is sort of resident Blake music expert. So I'm really hoping that at least one of these Camilla doesn't know. We shall see. Would people like to hear all or any of those again? What are we feeling?
Yes, please. I was enjoying it so much that I'd love to hear them again.
Any of them in particular or all of them, Gareth?
I want to hear all of them.
Excuse. Maybe we'll listen to a little snippet of each one then. Otherwise we'll be here all night. Ian, would that be all right? Could we just have a sort of a burst of each one, please? So, British jazz composer, Tiger in the Land. Okay.
You heard about that Blake went down the hill in Chepstow, and long gone it was broke.
Hear the voice of the bard, whose present, past, and future sees, whose ears have heard the holy word that walked among the ancient trees.
To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. A rubbing
Okay. So we're on to the vision part. So this is basically the same, but these are going to be 5 questions about films which incorporate some kind of Blake theme or inspired by Blake in some way. Some of them we've got videos for, some just stills. So, question 26. In which Jim Jarmusch weird Western does Johnny Depp play a character called William Blake? Ian, please play the clip.
Blake. It's so strange that you don't remember any of your poetry.
I don't know anything about poetry.
Oh, you're so modest.
Okay. Question 27, please. In which 2020 British psychological horror film does a nurse imbue her religious delusions with apocalyptic imagery from a book on William Blake? Don't have a video for this one, so you can just admire. It's also a very 1970s looking image, although it is a contemporary set film, if that helps at all. On to question 28, please, Ian. Oh, pause that clip a sec. I'm going to preface this before I read the question by saying that this clip is just, it just makes me howl with laughter. I love it. In which 2002 serial killer film does Rafe Fiennes, I believe you say it, to the horror of Blake fans everywhere, eat an original Blake artwork? Do not go to the Tate prints and drawings room and do that because they will show you stuff. I tell you that. Question 29, please. In which 1980s sci-fi film does Rutger Hauer misquote Blake's America, a prophecy? I think this one is a clip, if you wouldn't mind, Ian.
Deep thunder rolled around their shores, burning with the fires of Orc.
Okay, and finally for this round, question 30. Who bared all to play William Blake in the BBC television version of Jack Shepherd's play In Lambeth in 1993? Don't have a video for this one. There is a very wobbly VHS transferred to YouTube you can watch on YouTube, and this is a still that I took from there. Which doesn't give you the full picture, as it were, but maybe that'll give you some help. Shall we go back and just have a quick reminder of the film questions? We don't need to watch the things maybe, but just to remind ourselves of the questions. So 26, Jim Jarmusch, weird Western, starring Johnny Depp, playing a character called William Blake. What is that film? 27, in which 2020 British psychological horror film does a nurse imbue her religious delusions with apocalyptic imagery from a book on William Blake? Question 28, in which 2002 serial killer film does Rafe Fiennes, to the horror of Blake fans everywhere, eat an original Blake artwork? Could be a thing at the end of that film that comes up saying no Blake artworks were harmed in the making of this film. Question 29, in which 80s sci-fi film does Rutger Hauer misquote America, a prophecy? And question 30, who bared all to play William Blake in the BBC television version of Jack Shepherd's play In Lambeth in 1993? Okay. Oh yeah, we're going to have this again, I think. Hopefully when you go to bed tonight and try to sleep, that will be just circling through your head. Right, so this round is called Ding Blakes because I could not think of a better title for it. And this is not a question, this is an example question. So this is an image that I made for Vala, the Blake Society Journal, a few years back. But this just gives you an idea of the sort of thing we're after here. It's basically like a stupid Blake-related visual pun. So this one, there's Urizen, there's his motorbike. He's working on it. It's Urizen and the art of motorcycle maintenance, obviously. But let's move on and we'll see if anything becomes any clearer. Also, hopefully you saw these. If you arrived a bit early, you will have seen these in the preamble. So hopefully you got a chance to look at these earlier. So 31 rather, excuse me. What is this Blakean cut of meat? Leave it there for a little while. And then we'll have another look at these in a bit later. But a Blakean cut of meat. Okay. Let's have a look at question 32, please, Ian. This is some of these are merchandise items that we're trialing for the Blake Society. So this is something we're considering. What is this item of Blakean merchandise? Remember they're visual Blake puns, and also remember that I have quite a juvenile sense of humor. May help. Question 33, please, Ian. What is the name of this Blake vegetable? Again, I really hope when you know the spirit of prophecy was pouring through Blake and he was working on these deeply personal artworks that he hoped someone would be using them in this way in a few hundred years. Question 34. I would first like to apologize for this image, which I think is one of the most unpleasant things I've ever been at least partially responsible for. Who is this sinister figure? If you're looking for a clue, maybe just have a look at what he's holding. And if we could have question 35, please, Ian. Which 20th century English town is represented here? We're gonna sort of see all of these on the same screen in a moment or two, but do people want to go back and have a quick look at the close-ups of these before we move on? Or are you so baffled you're just like, just give it a rest, John? Let's go back and have a quick look, Ian. Why not? Took me long enough to put these silly things together. So, first one, a Blakean cut of meat. Okay, question 32. Potential merch. Bringing in the Blake money for the Blake Society. Question 33. It's a Blakean vegetable. 34. Whoa. Who is this demonic, sinister figure? And 35. I think I've been saying 25, just like to make things even more confusing. Which 20th century English town is represented here? Okay, let's move on to Alas Bank Manager, which some of you may have realized is an anagram of, what is it an anagram of? Blakean anagrams. Alas Bank Manager, quite pleased with that. So each of these is an anagram of a Blake book. Is that right? Yes, they are all Blake books. So we'll go through them just for fun. 36, Papacy Crimea Hero. 37, Lazarus Hooverfoot, possibly my favorite. may start a band called Lazarus Hooverfoot quite soon. 38. Get ahead, sofa priest. Yeah. 39. Peace offering Xenon condescension. And question 40. Sea eagle roll in iron. We'll just leave them there for a minute, and then you're going to have a chance to spend a few minutes, should you want to, just looking at these and all of the Ding Blakes together. Refresh your memory. Hey, Ian, should we move on to the next scroll, please? And then I hope you can all see that. It just occurred to me that you may have people in front of the anagrams, but maybe you can rearrange your screen if that's the case. I don't know. But what we're going to do is we're going to have a short intermission of a few minutes. We're going to listen to some more of that smooth, Blake-inspired David Axelrod. I think the last one was his take on London, by the way, and we're going to listen to his take on the human abstract while you have a few minutes to sort of puzzle those out, and then we will go through the answers for questions 30 to 40, I think. If that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions before we play the music? Or should I leave you puzzling over those? Okay, in that case, Ian, hit us with some smooth 60s jazz pop, please. Okay. At least a few people have said, let's go. So let's go. So what we're going to do is to go through the answers for uh, question. Oh, where have we gone? Question 20. No, what am I talking about? What are we doing? Question 21 onwards. That's right, isn't it? Okay, so we don't really need the multimedia stuff for this, do we? We could just do the music and then we might bring the things up for the Ding Blakes, I think. Right. So if people want to unmute themselves and then you can just shout out again, um, let's go through the answers. So, question 21. Which great British jazz composer and performer performs this version of The Tiger and the Lamb? Any ideas?
Mike Westbrook.
It is indeed Mike Westbrook. Well done, Camilla. Also, a patron? Is he a patron of the Blake Society, Mike and Kate Westbrook? Have I got the right terminology?
Yes.
Excellent. I highly recommend. I recommend you check out all of these musical versions actually, but Mike and Kate Westbrook's the Blake interpretations are phenomenal. Okay, 22. Which Manchester band plays this song with some unreliable information, but some quotes from The Marriage of Heaven and Hell?
It's The Fall.
It is The Mighty Fall. The Mighty Fall, who also did a cracking version of Jerusalem, the hymn, which was one of the answers to the 2020 version of this. If I can find a way to get the fall in, I always will. 20,
Can I just was he
yeah,
saying Blake went to Chepstow?
yeah, which is
Why does he think that?
I don't know. I mean, I think you're onto a losing battle trying to find any sort of rational, coherent answer to anything Marky Smith ever said or did, to be honest. Obtuse. So yeah. But there was a man who was obtuse, Marky Smith. So yeah. 23. Who sings this adaptation of The Voice of the Bard?
Is it Natalie? But I don't know if it's Merchant or Marchant.
It's not, I'm afraid.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Anybody know?
Martha Redbone.
It is indeed Martha Redbone. Camilla, musical genius. Yeah, also an absolutely terrific album of sort of Blake adaptations in sort of bluegrass, country and western folk sort of idiom. Great. Okay, 24. Which punk and dub bass player is responsible for this version of Auguries of Innocence?
Jaw wobble.
It is indeed Jar Wobble. Very good. Yes. Yes. Long time Blakehead, I believe, Jar Wobble.
Cool.
And also has a whole album of Blake related stuff.
Can you spell
20
that one? That's unfamiliar to me. Can you spell
Yeah,
that?
Jah. So I've always wondered if it's Yar, but I think you do say Jar, Jah, and then Wobble as Wobble, Wobble. He was, I think I'm right in saying, the bass player in Public Image Limited, which was John Lydon's band after the Sex Pistols, among other things.
Mhm.
25. Which Bristolian post-punk pioneer made this fragmentary cut-up rendition of Jerusalem?
Mark Stewart.
I think somebody said Mark Stewart. Did somebody say Mark Stewart?
Yeah, it's Mark Stewart. Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Yeah, Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart of the pop group, although I think that's him solo. Yeah. Sadly, no longer with us, Mark Stewart, but really interesting guy. Okay, so moving on to the round four, the vision end of things. Question 26. What's the name of the Jim Jarmusch weird western in which Johnny Depp plays a character called William Blake?
Dead man.
Dead Man.
It is indeed. Good film. Great film. I've gone off Johnny Depp quite significantly, but Dead Man is still a cracking film. 27. In which 2020 British psychological horror film does a nurse imbue her religious delusions with imagery from William Blake? Ooh. No one?
The Exorcist.
No, it takes a, a nod from The Exorcist. It's a film called Saint Maud, which I highly recommend if you're into horror films at all. She gets Blake completely wrong, but it is a brilliant, brilliant film. Really troubling film. It's great. 28. In which serial killer film does Ray Fiennes eat an original Blake artwork?
Was that Red
Red
Dragon?
Red
It was indeed Red Dragon. Yes, yes. The most unintentionally hilarious scene perhaps ever committed to celluloid. Question 29, 1980s sci-fi film, Rutger Hauer. All together, everyone.
Blade
Blade
Runner.
Runner.
Hey, Blade Runner, correct. Very good. Okay, and finally in this round, who bared all to play William Blake in the BBC TV version of In Lambeth in 93?
Mark Rylance.
It was indeed Mark Rylance, joint president of the Blake Society. So that's why I chose not to show the full frontal. But if you can put up with some very shaky VHS wobble, it is a brilliant play, and it is there on YouTube. It's about a sort of imagined conversation between Blake and Thomas Paine in the Blake's Garden in Lambeth. It's very good.
What's the name of your number 27? What's the name of the film?
27, Saint Maud. So saint as in a holy saint and Maud as in the name, Maud. Very good. Okay, on to, shall we can we bring up, yeah, these ridiculous things which occupied an afternoon for me putting these together. So, question 31, what Blakean cut of meat is this?
Pork chop.
Correct. It is, of course, an orc chop. Yes. Okay, next, please, Ian. What is this item of Blakean merchandise?
Thomas.
Thermos.
Thermos. Thomas Thermos.
Thermos flask. Yes,
Thermos.
correct. Yeah, you can have just a thermos. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Blakean vegetable.
Jerusalem artichoke.
Jerusalem artichoke. Correct.
Ah,
Although in the process of doing this, I realized that a Jerusalem artichoke is not really an artichoke. So that is an artichoke. Your actual Jerusalem artichoke is like a root, something or other, which is called a Jerusalem. It's not really not. Anyway, these are the weird rabbit holes we go down, eh?
And
34, please.
and
Oh,
just
sorry,
to
go on.
say
Yeah.
to say that Ginsberg makes a reference to Jerusalem artichoke
Oh, really?
cooking for so long. Yeah, in a band in one of his poems. I think it's Europe, Europe.
Ah, I meant to say, Camilla, that there were no Ginsberg featured in the musical round this time, which, you know, some would consider a blessing, others a disappointment. I don't know, but there you go. So question 34, who is this deeply, deeply sinister figure, if you ask me?
Yuri Gellerson.
Yuri Zengela.
Yuri Zengela.
Yuri Zengela.
Correct. Yeah. I would accept Yuri Gellerson as well. Yes. That may be unfair to non-British contestants. I don't know. I'm not sure how far he traveled. I mean, if you don't know who Yuri Geller is, consider yourself blessed. Question 35. Which 20th century English town is represented here?
Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes.
Milton
Yeah.
Keynes, correct. So your man, the bald chap with his Milton's hand on his head is Maynard Keynes, the economist. And as long as Google image search has served me correctly, that is Geoffrey Keynes, his brother, and the noted Blake scholar peering out from behind him. So yes, Milton Keynes, the new town.
Touch of the George Orwell about Geoffrey Keynes. I've never seen a picture. Never seen a picture of him before.
Yeah, he does look very Orwell-esque, doesn't he? Yeah. You wouldn't know they were brothers either, would you? It's weird. Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on to a last bank manager? So, I have hastened to add, of course, that I did not work these out. I put these into an anagram generator, so I take no, I just chose my favorites. So, if anyone's got any ideas, call them out. 36, Papacy, Crimea, Hero.
America Prophecy.
Correct. America, a Prophecy. Very good. Okay, 37, my personal favorite, Lazarus, Hooverfoot.
The Four Zoas.
Saldo, the Four Zoas.
Yep. You need, I mean, I'll accept the four Zoas, but there's six letters you're missing, I think, if it's.
Right. What else?
What's the four Zoas also known as?
Bela.
Yeah. So it's actually, I think, if I've got this right, Lazarus Feverfoot is an anagram of Vala or the Four Zoas. But yeah, Four Zoas is absolutely fine. I'm not a tyrant, probably. 38. Get ahead, Sofa Priest. Ooh, no one? It is the Gates of Paradise. The reason I was pleased with that one as well is that that sounds like a Marky Smith lyric, the guy from The Fall. You can imagine him, get ahead, Sofa Priest. That could be from a Fall song. 39. Peace Offering, Condescension, Xenon.
Is for the
Songs of
sex.
Innocence and Experience.
Correct. Songs of Innocence and of Experience.
Of course.
And finally, Sea Eagle, Roll in Iron. It's an early one.
Oh.
An Island in the Moon.
No.
Nope.
Should I tell you? All religions are one.
Oh.
So that is the end of whatever round that is. Round 6. You may be pleased to hear. Don't have to go through that again. So I would invite you all to tot up your scores again. I think it's as simple as just a point for each one you got right. So it should be out of 20 again, I think. He says, hopefully, yeah. And then we will listen to a bit more David Axelrod. I'm not being paid by the estate of David Axelrod, by the way. They're nice because they're Blake related, but they are also wordless. So you can do something else while you listen to it. So if you could again put your score in the chat just for those 2 rounds, please. So out of 20. And then we will ask Tamzin to add those to your previous scores, and in a moment or two, we will do the top 4 again, and then move on to the last 10 questions of the quiz. Okay.
Wow.
I think that's everyone, John.
Think Samson's ready.
Yeah,
Sterling
I
work.
am.
Impressive. I
Okay.
wanted to compare Tamsin to Carol Vorderman, and she wasn't having it. But
No, we were trying to think of a kind of Blakean equivalent to a
Yeah.
glamorous assistant, but everything we came up with was so much worse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if anyone can come up with something by the end of the quiz, it would be welcome. But we decided to go with that. Okie dokie, right. So we have got in reverse order. For these last rounds, Alan McDonough, well done. We have got Camilla again, and then in joint first place, we have Matt Goddard and Loz Never Loses, John Lanthier. So
Whoa.
I know we've got joint first place
Whoa.
there. So
Wow.
and that is, apart from Camilla, really different from the last round. So
Yeah.
there's everything to play for.
Everything to play for. Again,
Everything to play for.
a troubling number of trustees in the top 4 again. That's
No, two, no.
Thank you very much, Tamzin. Right. Well, as she says, everything to play for still. It could all change with these last 10 questions. So we will move on to what I believe is round 7. Thank you very much, Ian. Right, this round is 5 questions. It's a picture round, and it is simply Blake or not Blake. Is this picture created by William Blake, or is it not created by William Blake? It's as simple as that for each picture. So here's 41. Have a little look at that. Sounds like somebody's phoning a friend. Bit of help. Okay, should we move on to question to 42, picture 42, please, Ian? Thank you. So Blake or not Blake? Okay, on to question 43, please. It's the same question. Blake or not Blake? Question 44, please. Blake or not Blake? Finding it hard to remember myself, but luckily I have the answers written down. Okay, and finally for this round, 45. Blake or not Blake? Shall we have a quick scroll through those 5 just to remind ourselves, if that's possible, please, Ian? So 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Okay. And the final 5 questions are, as we're returning really to the beginning of the quiz, they're just questions with no multimedia extravaganza element. But the final round, round 8, is called the Great British Blake Off. And that's because all 5 questions are related to food. Promised you this earlier, didn't I? So there's no more onion questions, but let's see what we get. Question 46. What would Catherine Blake put on William's plate when they were low on money and he needed to find some paid work? What would Catherine put on William's plate when they were low on money and he needed to find some paid work? Question 47. According to one of the proverbs of hell, what time of day should you eat? Is it A, morning, B, noon, C, evening, or D, night? According to one of the proverbs of hell, what time of day should you eat? A, morning, B, noon, C, evening, or D, night? Question 48. According to another proverb of hell, all wholesome food is caught without 2 things. What are they? According to another proverb of hell, all wholesome food is caught without 2 things. What are they? Question 49. We're almost there. According to another section in the marriage of heaven and hell, what did the prophet Ezekiel eat? According to another section in the marriage of heaven and hell, what did the prophet Ezekiel eat? The final question of Blakety Blake 2026. Question 50. Apparently, in later years, Blake would head to the pub on the corner of the Strand for a glass of his favourite tipple. What was it? Apparently, in later years, Blake would head to the pub on the corner of the Strand for a glass of his favourite tipple. What was his favourite drink? Would anybody like any of the last 10 questions repeated or reshown? All good. Okay. All right, let's do the final answers for the final 10 questions then. So, Blake or not Blake? Who wants to hazard a guess on 41?
Yes.
Yes.
Blake. It's Blake.
Not Blake. I'm afraid not. It's a copy of one of the Job pictures by John Linnell, or at least the circle of John Linnell. And which is a tricky, annoying thing. Sorry. I think I'm right in saying that is the one that's used on the cover of the recent Philip Hoare book, whose name I've forgotten, William Blake and the Sea Monsters of Love. Yeah. Next slide, please. Blake or not Blake?
No.
No.
It is. It's Blake.
Is it really?
Engravings that he did for the Wedgwood catalogue. Don't think that was one of his most visionary afternoons. There you go.
Of course.
Next slide, please, Ian. Blake or not Blake?
No.
No.
Correct. Anyone tell me who that's by?
Is it Linnell?
It's not Linnell. It is another of the ancients.
Tatum.
It is Tatum. Yeah. Yeah. Who I think Catherine lived with for a bit, right? And it sounds like they couldn't stand each other by the end of that. 44, please, Ian. Blake or not Blake?
Not.
Yes.
It is. That is by Blake, and that is of his patron, the aforementioned Thomas Butts.
Really?
And finally, in this little round, 45, please. Blake or not Blake?
Not.
Correct, not Blake. Copied from a Blake crucifixion, but that is by W. Graham Robertson, who, if you've read the Philip Hoare book, I'd never heard of him until then, but it turns out he is, to quite a large part, responsible for the Tate having most of their Blake paintings. He was an amazing collector who then donated it all to the British to the country, really. Okay, should we come out of the multimedia world? Oh, we're still in the multimedia world, aren't we? But question 46: what would Catherine Blake put on William's plate when he needed to find some work?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Correct. Absolutely nothing. Love that. 47, multiple choice. According to one of the proverbs, what time of day should you eat?
Noon.
Incorrect.
Morning.
Also incorrect.
I put night, just yes.
Night.
Also incorrect.
Evening, yeah. Evening, was it?
Evening, apparently, yeah. So C.
Yeah.
I think the proverb is think in the morning, act in the noon, eat in the evening, sleep in the night. I mean, you'd be hungry. I would be not capable of doing anything. 48. According to a different proverb of hell, all wholesome food is caught without two things. What are they?
A trap or a net.
A net and a trap, correct. If you've got one, give yourself half a point. But yeah, a net and a trap is the full answer. Okay, 49. According to a different section of Marriage of Heaven and Hell, what did the prophet Ezekiel eat?
Locusts.
Did somebody say dung?
Dung.
I did.
Dung. Correct. Yeah. I will take, any other slang term for said matter. That's also fine. I don't know whether that really qualifies as a food question, but there you are. And final question. When Blake would head to the pub on the corner of the Strand for his favorite tipple, what was it he was getting himself?
Wine.
Beer.
Not wine. It was beer, but I'm really looking for something slightly more specific. Type of beer.
Porter.
Porter, correct. correct. I'm feeling generous, so I'm going to say half a point if you said beer. But the full point, yeah, porter is correct, which I think is kind of like stout, right? It's like a dark beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, that is the end of Blakety Blake, or at least the questions. So we will ask you one more time to add up your scores and to transmit them via the means of the chat to Tamzin, and then we will see who the winners are. While we do that, we're going to watch a little bit of this amazing animation by an animator called Sheila Graber. Okay, think we're ready. That, by the way, I love showing any excuse to show that to people because I think it's amazing. I hope you agree. And that was created single-handedly, I think, by an animator called Sheila Graber, who is now in her 80s, and she's this incredible like force of nature from Sunderland, I think. And I stumbled upon that years ago, and I interviewed her and the much younger animator who's this sickeningly young guy in his sort of late 20s who did the animations for the Tate Blake exhibition in 2019-20. And we did a sort of joint interview with the two of them, which you can find in Vala issue 2, I think. But Sheila did those in the late 70s. I think there was a big Blake exhibition at the Tate, or the Tate as it was then, now Tate Britain, in about 77 or 78. My understanding is she basically sat in the big, what's it called now, the Duveen Gallery, I think, the big hall at Tate Britain, with her animation cells and paints and just and presumably her animation table and everything, and created like that over the months that the exhibition was on. Totally amazing. Anyway, Tamzin, do you have for us a final four?
I do.
Wow. So what we're going to
Right.
do, I hope everyone is excited. Oh, before I should ask you, so now I think in case this affects anything, who, Tamzin, would you like to award the bonus point for the best Blakean pub quiz name?
I really enjoyed the Spinal Tap reference, so I'm going to give it to Albion St Hubbins. Thank you for that. That really amused
I
me.
hadn't even clocked that. I adore Spinal Tap. So yes, good. Very
Yeah,
good.
no, I think that was great. I really enjoyed that. So I'm giving
Very
you an
good.
extra point.
So what we're going to do, the reason we've asked for the top four all along is the top four scorers are going to be named the Zoas, the four Zoas. So we're gonna work backwards, and you can disagree with my Blakean interpretation here. But at number four, we're gonna find out who tonight is Urizen. Please, Tamzin, could you tell us who is Urizen this evening?
It's going to be Matt Goddard, who's one of our fellow trustees. Matt, well done. Yep.
Excellent,
You make a
excellent.
great Zoa.
So I'm going to do. Oh, there he is. There he is. I'm going to do tell you the prizes as well. There are prizes. They are in the best Blakean tradition, imaginary, but that is with a capital I. So that adds to their value. And for you, Matt, as Urizen, we have got a very special prize, which is a joy without pain, a solid without fluctuation, and that is in the form of a lifetime supply of beard wax. So, congratulations. Thank you for playing, Matt. Could we move on to third place, please, Tamzin, which is going to be the Zoa Tharmas.
We have got obtuse angle, Gareth Sturdy. Welcome to Team Zoa.
Very nice, very nice. Congratulations, Obtuse. I hope you'll be happy with your prize, which is a delightful day trip to the Pleasure Gardens of Lambeth, and that has been donated, that prize, to the quiz tonight by Golganuza Day Trips. I hope you have a really nice day out.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. We move on to second place, please, which is tonight is going to be Luvar or possibly Lavar or who knows.
It's Camilla.
Oh, of course, of course. Congratulations, Camilla. Congratulations. Camilla, as our second place tonight, you have won a year's free supply of Orc energy. That is the first energy company to guarantee their energy is generated entirely by Poet. But you will have to get in touch with them to arrange for them to install the Poet in your home. So this is a very exciting point. We're going to find out who the overall winner of Blakety Blake 2026 is. And they, of course, will become the Zoa loss. Please, drum roll, and then Tamzin, would you let us know?
Well, he's very well named because it's Lost Never Loses. It's John.
Of course, of course.
What?
What a prophetic name you chose.
But it was
Amazing.
close. I have to say that for the last round, everyone caught up, and it was really close.
Incredible. John, congratulations. Top prize for loss is a luxury hamper, which includes a commemorative blacksmith's hammer, Blake's lost painting of The Last Judgment, and perhaps the ultimate prize to you is the gift of fourfold vision.
Vision. Yeah.
That is available at a time of your choosing, but it is Monday to Thursday.
Yeah. Getting out of Oro, baby.
You have to let us know how you get on with it, okay?
Yeah, will do.
Excellent. Oh, well, congratulations, everybody. Well done. Good quizzing. Good quizzing. Well, thanks again to everyone for taking part. Thanks particularly to Ian, our backstage digital maestro, who always does us proud. Well, all these events we do on Zoom for the Blake Society, but particularly tonight, we've put him through his paces, so much appreciated. And of course, to the wonderful Tamzin, who has kept the scores and similarly helped us keep the show on the road. I must, before I let you go, tell you that the next Blake Society event, which is a few weeks away on the 4th of February, is the Blake Society AGM, which is probably going to be even more fun than Blakety Blake. In all seriousness, it actually will be really good fun because there's the AGM side of it, but then we always have half an event that goes with it. And Camilla, who was Luva, second place today?
Luva.
There you are. There you are. We'll be doing that event after the AGM, and it is on the centenary of Blake's death, right? So, what's that? 1927.
Exactly.
Exactly. So that is I hope you'll agree, a fascinating topic as we get ready for the bicentenary next year. So please join us for that. You can find the event on the website and register for that, obviously, and get ready. That's it for Blakety Blake, The Return. Thanks for putting up with my nonsense. Thanks for taking part. And I think we're going to have to run the theme tune one more time. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, John. Thank you all.
Thank you. Great fun.
Good fun.
Everyone, really nice to see you all. I'm going to shuffle my papers like a newsreader now.
All wave like we're on an actual quiz.
Yeah.